I go to the shelter, I pick up the kids, and then I take them to the movies or skating to the park or whatever, have snacks again, so that they could have that positive interaction with the police, so that if they ever had a negative, or if they did, they could remember, well, I've had a positive interaction with the police, and all police officers are not the same.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
You're listening to the Black and Blue Podcast, a discussion and celebration of the roles of African Americans and other minorities in U.S. law enforcement. Your host on the Black and Blue Podcast is Dale Peters, a law enforcement professional with over 20 years experience in the business. Hop on board this Black and Blue train of interviews, current events, and pop culture conversations. So get ready. The Black and Blue Podcast is coming at you right now. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the interrogation room. My name is Dale, host of the Black and Blue Podcast. Thank you for joining me here today. Today's guest is a really, really cool one. She recently retired after 28 years of service with the Indianapolis Police Department. Everybody, please help me welcome in. Give her a warm welcome, Sherron Franklin. How you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing out there in California?
Excellent. Yes, out here in California, sunny California.
Southern California. Sunny here today. It was sunny here. Yeah.
So you were in Indianapolis, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how's things going over there with the COVID-19 stuff?
Well, if you follow the directions, and instructions, it would be going fine. Actually, I had a COVID test on Wednesday, and I got my results back today.
Okay.
And they were negative.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's because I follow instructions.
So you've been staying at home and all that, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, good for you. A lot of states are starting to open up. Is Indiana starting to open up too?
Oh yes, I was out driving around today, and I saw so many people, and I was really thinking, oh, this is I'm going back in the house.
All right. Well, you continue to stay safe, and everything's gonna work out. Everything's gonna work out.
Okay.
So like I mentioned before, you recently retired after 28 years with the Indianapolis Police Department. Congratulations there.
Thank you. I had a plan. When I joined the police department, when I was in the police academy, I remember one of the instructors saying, you would know when it's time to go. And with 28 years and at 56, it was time to go. But you have to plan it in advance. I planned it 3 years in advance to leave 3 years later. But I mean, I've had a good career. And I now that I've been in the house, really chilling, I'm ready to go back to work. I've been in the house a year.
Yeah. Oh, for a year now, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, but part of that, 3 or 4 months of that has been this COVID stuff. So, you got any plans of what you want to do as far as going back to work?
Actually, after my retirement, I did 2 jobs, and they were government jobs. One was testing the kids at school for their diagnostic tests. My job was to go set up computers that was fed back to the Department of Education. And then I took another job with a company, and I really liked that job. That job was this particular company did all the military screenings for the military reserves. And that tugged at my heart and was a passion of mine because I was in the military. I actually did 9.5 years active duty, and then I did 11 years in the reserve. So I retired from the military as well. So I like the job. Where, you go and because you're interacting with the soldiers and for yourself, when you're at a particular job, you speak a certain language. Every job has its own language. So the military job, I understood their language, and being a police officer, I understand the language. So But right now, yeah, unfortunately, 9 months after retirement, I found out I had breast cancer. So I'm just kind of dealing with that. And then I'll worry about work after that, or what am I supposed to do after that?
Yeah, definitely. Worry about your health first.
Yes.
Yeah. How is that progressing? Treatment.
The treatment, it's true. Chemo, I was healthy. I ran, I walked, I exercised a lot. Avid believe in working out just because of being in the military and being on the police department. And actually, so I still have to have a mastectomy, which is coming up. And that part has been rough. That's been more rough than being on the police department. But I'm dealing with it. I told one of my little mentor police officer kids, I call them my kids because they are the same age as my daughter. I said, because of my DNA, I have to keep pushing forward.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we'll be praying for you on this end. Definitely.
Right, thank you.
Definitely. So what you some of the assignments that you did at the police department over the years?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, again, like you said, I was on the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department for 28 years. I was in the Army for 9.5 years. I got out of the military and I worked as a surgical technician for a year, but I was missing the camaraderie of being in the military because I liked that cohesiveness that the military brought. I am a person that believes in discipline, and rules. We have to have rules. And I'm a rule follower. I'm not going to say I've never done anything bad. I was a bad teenager, but, fortunately I got through that period in life. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine I was in a reserve with, she and her mate came by and he was in his state trooper uniform. I was like, that would have the same camaraderie as the military. And so I applied for the state police. I didn't make it there, but then I applied for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, made it there. And that career was rewarding. I've always had my eye on the prize. I always figure like this: if you're not going to be rich, but you're going to get older and you're going to retire, you better be thinking of what's going to pay you when you're in retirement. So I always call myself a pension chaser. What jobs have pensions? That's why I finished the military reserves. So when I get 60, I'll get that extra check coming in. Yep. You have to have some discipline about your money too. To live within budget restraints. And then I thought about the police department, the pension. But I was talking to a younger officer today, and I was telling him, when I first came on in 1991, the group I was with, we had fun. We were having so much fun at work that we would actually show back up at work and it'd be our days off, our RDOs. You know what those are, regular days off. Yep. Because we forgot, because we were having so much fun. Now don't get me wrong. There were early on in my career, when I went to work, I would think that I was not coming back home. But mentally I was prepared for that as well. But again, I kept my eye on the prize. With my retirement, I'm not going to be rich, but I'll have a pension coming in. I'll have a roof over my head. And so I had goals set up.
All right.
And the police department, as long as, for me, got to remember, you should know this too, Dale. You have to remember, everybody's career is not going to be the same. We all can sit at the same table and eat the same food, but some of us are going to gain weight, some of us not. So everybody's career is not the same. I have a girlfriend who worked on the west side. Her career wasn't the same as my career on the northeast side. You got different clientele. I'll tell you the story. I remember one day, because I worked in the hood, but I remember one day when I got my first run, I probably had been on for a year, and I got a run and was to some white people's house. And I remember going, some white people having some issues? I was...
That doesn't happen in those neighborhoods and those houses, right?
Right. And I was like, oh, okay, wake up, little girl, wake up. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
everywhere.
Throughout my career, I've been able to start programs. I remember giving the homeless blankets. They used to call me the blanket lady. I remember writing a letter to the mayor. I got in trouble, but I remember writing a letter to him saying, if you want police officers to live in the area in which we patrol, then you need to make those areas livable. And I told him, especially for the area I live in, I needed street lights because the street lights on the next street were being shot out. He came out and rode with me. The next day, they said, okay, where do you want these street these covers? I told him we needed bulletproof covers over the street lights. And so we got those. I started another program with mentoring with young girls. It was called Yaya, Youth and Young Adults. I had this idea because I was running into these young girls who were they were wilding out, and they were wilder than the guys. And I was thinking, okay, they need some guidance. So the police department allowed me to start this program called Youth and Young Adults. It was me and another officer. And I went in 3 schools in the inner city. And I partnered with the social workers. And because I said, listen, let me come in and teach them social skills. Let me come in and teach them about, how to act, because we all know people are judging us. We all do it. They're judging us from the time we open our mouths.
Right.
So, and I wanted to teach them personal hygiene because I learned these girls, they didn't know that you're not supposed to smell like fish.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Okay.
So I got a curriculum together. I got with another agency, put the curriculum together, made CDs, and I partnered with another agency that gave me food because I understood, first of all, you had to understand people too. So I understood you have to, have a snack for them that would draw them in and make them want to listen to you. And that was another program. Now the program that they have on the police department now that ended with me when I left was the mental health. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department have the mental health because I had a deputy chief that believed in what I was telling him. And at the time I was in the master's program. I was getting a master's degree late in life, but I was writing these papers and I started researching mental health problems. And then I started thinking about the runs that the officers were getting. And most of the runs were mental health runs. People can't handle their mental health, or as they call it, daddy. Parents can't raise their kids. But oftentimes the kids are rebelling because when you go in their house, you look at the parents and you're thinking, yeah, this is why the kid is probably rebelling. Yep. We need some mediation in here more so than the kid needs to go to juvenile or this person needs to go to jail. So as a matter of fact, I was supposed to come to Los Angeles because you guys have the perfect blueprint for the mental health program to receive direction and then bring it back. But I never got a chance to get there. But needless to say, we started a pilot program, and for a while, my partner was a mental health worker, and we just respond to those runs. And then my mental health partner, whose name was Tim, would triage. And then we had come together holistically. We had a group of agencies that partnered with us, mental health agencies. And so then my job was to triage and send them to these different agencies to start the intervention. And we raised money because too, I understood sometimes a kid is not going to talk in front of their parent. So we raised money. And so we had this fund of money. And then I would either take the kid or the parent. We'd go to McDonald's, Burger King, somewhere to talk, a neutral place so that they could, feel comfortable in talking so we could get to how we're going to solve this issue.
Right. Yeah. Mental health is a major thing nowadays that, a lot of agencies across the nation are, teaming up with mental health professionals, because, we've got a lot of mental health issues out there. We got homeless people. We've got, juveniles that are having issues and like you say, wilding out, and we've got, drugs, and there's all sorts of things that mental health is playing into. So it's good that we're partnering with these people and these agencies and getting stuff done, at least trying to.
Right, absolutely. And so we have 5 districts, and each of the 5 districts have a mental health team that respond to the mental health runs. And so those are 2 of the major things that I can remember. I have done so much. I mean, I've worked all over. I worked in arson. I worked in ag assaults. I was downtown district. I used to, I had a program there as well because I felt like most of the kids that were in the homeless shelter, when they dealt with the police, it was usually in a negative situation or a negative interaction. So I asked my deputy chief, can I start a program where I go to the shelter, I pick up the kids, and then I take them to the movies or skating to the park or whatever, have snacks again, so that they could have that positive interaction with the police, so that if they ever had a negative, or if they did, they could remember, well, I've had a positive interaction with the police, and all police officers are not the same, and to judge a person based on what they're seeing or their merit. So that was another one of the programs. Everything I did was positive. It was for the betterment of the community, as well. I always I believe in social capital. And for people that don't know what social capital is, you got to look it up. I have a girlfriend that's,
I was going to ask you.
That's a mental health worker, and she's always giving me these big words or these words to use. But I understood the value. I didn't know it was social capital, but I understood the value of relationships. If you're not going to be rich, but you're going to need some things done, you need to form relationships across all different spectrums, because you don't understand how much you can get done. Like we talk about wealthy people, okay, yeah, they have money and they can buy this and else. But if we have connections, we can get things done behind the scene, with connections as well.
Yep.
And
Definitely.
I pride myself in that. My daughter, I always tease her. She lives in Berlin, Germany.
Okay.
And
nice.
So she always teased me about being in politics or, contributing to politics. I said, yeah, because if something happened and I need some help getting you home, I need to have contributed to somebody's campaign so I can call them and say, hey, I need to get my daughter. So that's part of the social capital aspect. But again, someone called me, and you should always keep that social capital. Someone called me the other day and they needed something from a city councilor. And because I have that relationship, I was able to call this person. I haven't talked to this person since 2008, but they answered my phone call, which was the most important part. So let me go back. So during this time while I was on the police department, I got a wild hair. I decided I wanted to run for office. So I lived in a Republican district. I was living in a Republican. And let me just say this: people you're a product of your environment. Most people don't like to not think about it, but you're a product of your environment, be it liberal, whatever.
Okay.
So even people here in Indiana, if they say they're Democrat, but they're conservative. And they're conservative because you live in a conservative environment. Your environment does rub off on you. But anyway, I live in a Republican district. Democrats didn't win out here, but I ran anyway. Put my name on the ballot. What my motto was, what did I have to lose? But I won.
But you won. All right.
I won. That was in 2003. So from 2004, 4, 5, 6, 7. From 2004 to 2007, I was a city county councilor. But because I was honest and I stuck to principle and I believe in rules, you better believe they came up with a law that said you can't, because they couldn't control me. Right. You can't be a police officer or a fireman or a city worker and be on a city council.
What? Wow, really?
That's the Sherron law.
The Sherron law, no doubt. Wow.
Right. But I learned a lot. And some of the people that I was on the council with, they're still there. And they let me know the level of respect because fast forward, 10, 12, 13 years later, I had to reach out for someone else. But because I was honest, I always
so
said
did they run you out of office on that ruling, or did they just wait till your term was up?
Well, actually, I didn't win re-election. Listen, I didn't win re-election, but I won't even get into that. No. I didn't win re-election. They didn't want me to, and half of them that didn't want me to didn't end up winning either. See what happened when you're not about the.
Yep. All right. Wow. Wow. Did you grow up in Indianapolis?
Yes, I grew up in Indianapolis. I left home. Left home right out of high school and went straight to the military. And I love the military. The only reason why I got out the military is because I was married and they were going to send me to Germany, and my husband didn't want to go to Germany, and I was trying to keep the family together, so I got out. But you know what? I believe in God, and so my path has been rough, but you take the good with the bad.
Right. And so how'd your daughter end up in Germany if you didn't go? Or did you go?
A funny story is I got out of the military because I had gotten orders for Germany, and I didn't want to go because I didn't want to split up the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided, okay, I'll just get out because I believe a kid should be with two parents. And so I got out because I didn't want to go to Germany. And what happens? She still ended up in Germany. So I should have just went to Germany anyway.
Yeah.
But
what is she doing over there?
She works for Universal Studios. She's actually the international marketing director for Universal Studios. But she graduated from college and moved to New York. And from New York, she just called one day. It's like, I'm moving to Berlin. I said, Berlin? Right. And I actually thought she'd be back home. She's been there for 4 years now.
Wow. Does she like it over there?
She loves it. She loves it. I've been there twice. And funny story is I am divorced from her dad. I'm divorced from her dad. But he and I went together over there in August of this year. I said, okay, so now we all still end up in Germany anyway.
Still end up in Germany anyway.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah.
Right.
And
Sprechen Sie Dutch? You sprechen Sie Dutch? Okay.
Yeah. Do you know a little German? All right. So you grew up in over there in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And then once you got out the military, since you were coming back and you were looking for that camaraderie, you went to the police department, and then you got in there, and then you've run a lot of programs. It sounds like you told me you got that social capital. What you said, it sounds like every time you went to your deputy and said, "Hey, I need this done," it sounds like you got it done, huh?
And what he used to tell me is his motto is, if it's good for the people, it's good for the community, it's good for the police department. And of course, you had to lay out like a business plan, not a business plan, but you have to sell it. I had to sell it.
Oh, yeah.
But because it was always so positive and it sounded sustainable and it wasn't costing anything. Yes, I was allowed to do those programs.
Right.
You have to be innovative. You have to be innovative. And that's my message too, with the young people now. They have to think about, you got to run for office. You can't wait for permission. And if a person tell you can't, since it's your right, you can still do it. You may not have the support, but you might mess around and win. Because the truth of the matter is, even though I lost re-election in 2007, so did the popular mayor with a whole bunch of money. And the person that beat him was a person that was little known and only had $50,000.
Wow.
So if you wait for permission, if you really want to make change, I look at what's going on in the community, and it saddens me. But what I do know that, again, with any job, you're taken from the population. So that's even with working at McDonald's, White Castles, Crystals. I'll say Crystals, Del Taco.
Yeah, we don't have Crystals out here, I don't think. At least,
you have
not
Del
out my
Taco.
area. Yeah.
Okay, so my first duty station was Fort Ord, California, which was down in Monterey.
Yeah. So you know Del Taco. Yeah.
So I know Del Taco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you got to remember, you're taken from the general population. And with any job, you have to remember, whatever environment that a person is raised in, though they're going to go through training with any organization, they're still going to have that foundation. In doing mental health, what I found out too, the adolescent brain really isn't developed to age 25. And they call, the other thing is, so they call it the formative years. So your brain is still developing all the way in your formative years. Because even now at my age, at 50 something, I find myself.
I didn't ask.
I find myself longing for certain things, and those things that I'm longing for were in my formative years. Korea, I want to go back to Korea so bad, because Korea was a place I went when I was 20. That's where the military went out. They sent me there. I still can speak a little Korean, and that was embedded in me at 20, but I can still remember some of the language. And coming back to California, believe it or not, last November, I wanted to go back to Fort Ord. I just wanted to go, because that was ingrained in me in my formative years. It was my first duty station. I was 19. I came back to California in last November and went right back to Fort Ord. So again, what we have to realize, but you have to want to change. So I cannot, bash or defend, but I will say that, within any organizations, you're going to have, different type of personalities.
Yeah. Definitely. You mentioned earlier that, Indianapolis is pretty conservative. I would say the whole Midwest is a pretty conservative, but it's a pretty diverse city, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But you know what? The United States is diverse. And as soon as our leaders start saying we are a country made up of a diverse population, and defined, because if you think about it, even with the Los Angeles Police Department, what do we have? Mission statement. So what is our mission statement? Okay, we are a diverse population with diverse people, and we need to understand how to make this work, because it's not like we are we're in particularly, let's say, Japan or Korea, because most of their population is just one population. Right. They're not diverse, okay? But we are. And so, yes, Indianapolis is diverse. Yes, yep. We do have a diverse community.
Yes, the great melting pot. That's us, and that's Indianapolis.
Yes, sir.
Definitely out here in Cali. Did you, when you went into law enforcement, did you get any kind of pushback for, being an African-American female in this profession?
Okay, so I went into law enforcement in 1991, and no, you know what? People were proud. They were proud of me, and everybody wanted to use you. You were like the celebrity. Everybody wanted to know you. Oh, yeah, my police officer cousin or my police officer friend, or you got invited everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, you use that celebrity, huh?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah, parlay that into something.
Exactly, because I am a person. I'm proactive. I'm not reactive. I'm proactive.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Definitely see that with you. Yeah. What was kind of the most rewarding part of your job when you were working at the PD?
The most rewarding part of the job came toward the end of my job. And that's when we were getting younger African-American females, and we kind of formed a circle around them, to tell them, what to expect. And, but if you get in something that you don't understand, you have this group of older females that we're here for you. We're here to mentor you. And again, like you said, Officer Lee was part of that group, and some of her other friends are still part of it. And we would have like dinners, or, I didn't get to go. They went to like Top Golf. That's where you like swing golf balls, and, we have little parties, and, where you talk and we laugh and you relax and you're de-stressing. That was the most rewarding part. And just to, be able to talk to them and know that they're listening, because again, they are my daughter's age. Okay.
Yeah.
In their 30s and in their 20s. Officer Lee was only 24. She was a baby, literally.
Yeah. For some of the viewers and the listeners that don't know about her story, can you kind of tell us what happened there with Officer Lee?
Well, without elaborating, because I don't want to, she was a young officer. She was a very beautiful officer, and her spirit, her personality was as beautiful as she was. And she responded to a domestic disturbance, and the guy was shot from inside the apartment and she killed her.
Yeah. People don't realize that that's one of the most dangerous parts of our job is responding to domestics, because people are heated for whatever reason. And, we got to be there, be the peacemakers, and we get caught in the middle a lot of times. There's even times when they're fighting, beating up each other, and then we go to arrest them, and then they beat up on us because they don't want the other half taken. It's like, wait a minute, he's blackening your eye and broke your jaw. So yeah, that's one of the most dangerous parts of that job there. Yeah.
Yes, and so and this is and to let you know that the young female officers are listening. The Friday before Mother's Day, I was sitting upstairs and I was minding my business, basically. And I happened to look out the window and I saw all these police cars and I was like, oh my God, a vehicle pursuit on my street. I was like a citizen. And so I was actually talking to one of my friends that's a police officer. And I was like, I'll call you back when we run downstairs and see why the police are out here in front of my house.
Right.
And then I saw some detective cars. I was like, oh, somebody must have committed murder. And then I ran outside and it was all of them telling me to come outside. And it was the younger officers letting me know, hey, we love you. We're thinking about you. We got you. And that brought tears to my eyes. But it also let me know that the mentoring and the mothering that we doing to them, that they're listening and they care. Because it was like a 30-year-old. I'm saying that, but yeah.
You're not that far removed from 30.
Well, yeah, I'm almost. But this is what I don't understand, Dale, with the young people. They within the community, the African American community, they're bash the officers for wanting to be officers or calling them one of them. And probably these same people that are bashing black police officers, talking about that they're one of them, or at home still living with their parents, who obviously has a measure of some success because they're still there and they have a roof over their head.
Right.
Or they're living in some half apartment that they have paying for, but you're bashing a person for having a career as law enforcement that gives them good health insurance, going to give them a pension, gives their child a better chance at being in a more positive environment, i.e. school or whatever. You're bashing them. And if you think about it, Dale, there isn't that many jobs, entry-level jobs anymore where you don't have to have some type of education. You can still probably get in law enforcement with a GED or a high school education. That is quickly fading. So bottom line is, if you only got to have a GED or high school education, what kind of job are you really getting? Because there's so many college people that are competing for those jobs that they can take a college person anyway and not take you. But you'd rather see a black person probably struggle and not be doing anything than to be the police.
Right.
And so I don't understand that mindset, because we have people on our department who have high school education and GED that are deputy chiefs or chiefs and majors, and they're making six figures. You are not going anywhere and making six figures with a high school diploma or a GED unless you are in some kind of technology. You're inventing the technology.
Right.
So what I don't understand is, why are they in this mindset? The one thing my daughter did tell me, she said her boss asked her, are you worried about your family in America? She said, no, because they have good health insurance. So what that let me know is, if her parents or her family didn't have health insurance, she might be worried about. What she was saying is, if they get sick, I know they have a chance.
Yeah. That's definitely something. But, I think a lot of the younger generations, and it was before that. It was before in our time too, that they see law enforcement as the man, as as the other side, the opposition. And I try to preach, and with this show and people that I come in contact with is, hey, if you feel that way, come join us. Come be a part of the solution, not the problem. Don't just sit there and complain about the problems. Hey, come in, be a part of the solution. And if we can infiltrate, if we can get multitudes of African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, all of us in this profession, then we can start making decisions, and we can start, you don't have to be afraid of officers that don't look like you. Not that you should be afraid of a lot of the officers they're out there doing good jobs anyway. But hey, if you feel like you got a problem, come on in the police department and be a part of the solution. That's my philosophy.
Right, absolutely. And the other thing I thought about as well, when I was on, okay, that was the time when Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Dale Davis, Karl Malone, Michael
You
Jordan.
naming some names now, okay?
Right, exactly, but because I worked at Market Square Arena security, so I came into contact with them. But those were the people. Then they're my age now too. So those were the basketball players that were playing ball when I was working. You think about the players now that are playing, and I'm talking about professional football as well. Okay. You think about the troubles that they're getting into. So these are the same peer group. They all the same peer group. But when I'm talking about my peer group, which like you said, most people are aware of, the most that they would get in trouble for was fighting, drinking and fighting at a club. That's all you would hear about. Oh, that person, oh yeah, this person was fighting at a club in New York or whatever. But That's it. They weren't killing, or they wasn't killing. Yeah. So, but you have this whole other generation. And I often laugh too as well. If you think about when we're policing, often we're policing people that are about the same age as us. Okay. And so with this generation, they're policing the same people of their age. And what I'm saying is they all came from the computer age so they got the same mindset, no respect. So each of them don't want to respect each other. The police don't want to respect them. They don't want to respect the police. That's because that's what they were, the era in which they were, they came up in.
Yep. Just 3 words and 120 characters or something. They don't really have to interact with each other. And yeah, that's what a lot of these generations are into now. Yeah, absolutely. Social media and all that. Yep, they can say whatever they want over social media, but when you come face to face, that's a different story. But yeah, definitely, I see what you mean there. Definitely. So, what kind of changes do you see for law enforcement in the future? What kind of opportunities do you see? What kind of challenges do you see for law enforcement coming up in the future?
Well, before COVID, I think most law enforcement were on track to change in policy where they didn't have to take people with GED and a high school education. They were moving toward taking people with college degree. You either had a college degree or have to have some college. I know the state police, I think the state police is like that here now. I'm not for sure. So don't know anybody that's listening. Don't quote me on that, but I'm thinking that they are. I'm not for sure. But I would have thought law enforcement was trending toward that because there was so many people with college degrees. Since COVID, I think that they will probably have to change that because I believe that people are going to start, this particular generation will start rethinking how much interaction with people that do they really want. My next door neighbor, for instance, is a guy, he's a paramedic. He's going to school to be a nurse. And I was asking him, hey, you sure you still want to be a nurse? You want to be you don't want to be a police officer? He's like, I don't want to do either one. Let me know his mind. He's in his 30s. Let me know his mindset. Like, oh, do I really want this interaction?
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think it had gotten that far. I know a lot of agencies across the country are having some problems recruiting, and that's I would think that was before COVID. It's just again back to this generation that, they don't want to be involved in law enforcement for a number of reasons. All the social media, bad coverage on law enforcement. We were talking about how a lot of minorities don't want to be involved with law enforcement, and social media's got a lot to do with that. There's always going to be some bad actors out there, bad characters out there in whatever profession. And,
right.
in the police department, it gets blown up, on the news and social media, because that's all they wanted to see. They don't want to show police officers out there feeding the homeless, out there with the kids. They don't want to show that. So they just show, all the 1% that's out there doing dirt. And then, nobody wants to be a part of that. So yeah, it's been a big challenge.
When we used to have this term, I don't know if you guys use it. If you don't like the police, then stop paging them. You remember? And I said, well, then why are you paging the police? Paging the police is doing bad stuff, having bad behavior. That means you paging us. We are not coming if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Don't page us.
Right? Yeah.
So you're paging the police and then you get mad.
Yeah.
My friend of mine used to say, okay, with a police officer, or you're making them think faster and make a decision in 2.1 second. You got to process something. So you're processing, and the average person isn't doing that. I never forget this run me and my partner was on, and it was in the middle of the night. It was an alarm run, and we were standing on each side of the door, and we knocked on the door, and it was at a residence, and the man came to the door with the gun. Okay. Oh. Now, like I said, we both stand on the other side of the door, right? Neither one of us thought about shooting the man. We both jumped off the porch.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing they talk about. They talk about, all these officers out there, and you got a person with a gun, and especially when it's somebody of color, the first thing they want to do is they want to shoot them. But however, when it's, somebody not of color, they give them those chances to talk them down and all that. And sometimes I can see that, but, hey, anybody with a gun, hey, I'm getting ready. I'm ready.
Right,
so
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there a lot of the kids say that police are racist, and because they don't see it. White kids run from the police too, but
yeah,
they eventually stop. But they don't see it. We only get to see the negative stuff in the news. We don't or the stuff that happens where there's a dramatic bad ending. We don't see every run. That's just a small percentage of something that happened in that day. And you focus on that one event when there's been thousands of stuff that happened during that day where somebody's life was threatened, or, just before this call somebody was supposed to be sending me a video where they said that they were going to start ambushing the police here. And I'm just torn. I'm torn because I want our community to be so much better. And, usually
that's something we got to work on together, as a community. They got to work with the police, and we got to definitely work with the community, because, we can't get things done without them. So it's something we got to work together in a partnership. Definitely.
Well, what I've learned on this journey as well is we live in the United States, and it's almost like 50 different small countries. I mean, when you go across the United States, if you travel, most people don't go out of their community. But if you travel, you'll see certain things are done. I mean, there's just different customs. I'll say customs are different.
Right. Yeah, customs
in different areas. And so I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But I just wish that our community, since we always want a leader, I wish we would have a leader to come out in the front and say, okay, if we do everything right and then we're getting messed with, then okay. But if we're not doing everything as possible as we can as right, okay,
Yeah.
then I mean, again, it goes back to if you're doing something wrong, you're paging the police. Okay, you're drawing the police to you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I look across, and I have to ask myself, I look across at all of the friends that I know that are police officers that have kids, Black male kids in particular. And I look at the ones whose kids were successful and whose kids wasn't, and try to think to myself, okay, what did that kid was in a good household, stable household, nice school. What happened to that particular kid? And I just give you my own daughter, for example. I moved into the district so she would be in a good school district to give her that step up. And don't think she didn't go astray.
Yeah.
But
as they do. Kids.
Right.
Yeah,
but thank God she listened and let me pull her back in.
Yeah. But see, that started from day one, though, being that good household, like you said, installing some discipline, teaching. All that stuff starts from day one. And you can't start, when they're 16. By then, it's too late.
Right.
If you're trying to start at 16, yeah.
Absolutely. And people don't want rules. They don't understand rules. Or if we didn't have rules, I mean, there's a movie called Idiocracy. And
I've heard of it.
That movie is a good movie. People should watch that movie because that is the way the world is trending. It's like our world is trending to want to be dumber instead of smarter. I always pride myself. My friends always say, you're always on the internet. I'm always looking up new stuff. For instance, I've heard of the Rwanda genocide. Didn't know that much about it. Watched the movie. The movie inspired me to want to know more about it. I ordered some books from Amazon so I can read, so I can enlighten myself. Because it's my hope that I end up in the audience of some people that I need to inspire.
Yeah, yeah. So on that note, what's in your future?
What's in my future?
What is in your future? Where you see yourself in the next 5 years? I know you were thinking about going back to work. You want to do any traveling? What's in your future?
I wish I had the answer to that because I was a germaphobe before COVID.
Oh, now you all the way over now.
Now I'm all the way over. Like, I don't want to go out the house. So I really, and it's ironic that you asked me that because I had thought about that. But at each stage, I'm going to get through breast cancer first. I believe in letting God guide me because if I allow God to guide me, I've always ended up in better places. I laughed and I was talking to a friend and we were laughing about this. I was like, that mayor wanted me off the 25th floor. I wasn't on the 25th floor. He wanted me not to be the city council. He got off the 25th floor and I ended up on the 25th floor. So when you let God guide you, then you usually end up in better place. I just do know that I have whereas I thought that I was ready to retire and really lay back, once I got rested, I just still have passion and I still have energy to do so much more. And because I'm a thinker and I'm always proactive, and I am one of those people that, remember that game Concentration? Did you ever play Concentration?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
all
about.
The cards on the table and then you got to remember where the cards were. Yep. My mind is like Concentration. I can remember things and then I can put stuff together. I'm also good with connecting people with other people for their good. So I don't know what's in my future. For all what I just told you, God definitely has to guide me. But I'm going to go back to my career on the police department. I had a great career. I loved being a police officer. It worked out for me. Again, if people don't put their mind on what kind of money or income I'm going to have when I get old, do you want to just struggle and be in survival mode all the time? We need to, as a Black community, start looking at those careers that are going to give us a pension, because they're going to go by the wayside.
They are.
And do you want to be struggling? Do you want to be that 70-year-old person that's struggling or trying to figure out where your food or where you're going to come is going to come from? When I was on my way to get that coronavirus test, I got to the stoplight and I looked over and I saw this old man. Well, I ain't gonna say he was old. He wasn't old, but he was in a wheelchair. And he was kind of sitting off in the woods. And then I could see he had a tent, like a tarp made out of a tent. So actually that was his house. And he was sitting out in the wheelchair, probably because he got tired of sitting in his tent. And I got sad because I was thinking, he doesn't probably have any food. The only food he's going to have is the food he can go out and scrounge up. And so, how did he end up there? Why is he there? And actually, I got sad. But then I thought about, okay, with Sherron, you don't know his story. And that's the other thing. Everybody that's living have a different story. Some people have similar stories. But do you want to be that person that possibly end up in a tent because you got to 70 and you have no income coming in at all?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sounds like, maybe that's something that you can do after you get over, your health issues here, God willing, you can get you back out there, whether it's with the police department or somewhere else, some agency that you can get out there and start, helping these people out like you've been doing your whole career. That's what it sounds like. Something that is the passion of yours and something that I could see you definitely going back to. So yeah, let's pray for you get through your health and then we'll go from there. How about that?
Thank you. I mean, I don't know if I have to say anything that can help anybody, but I hope that I have. I mean, there's more to my story than just I was on the police department and I started all these programs. Again, like I said, I had some issues in the military, some unfortunate things that happened. But again, I kept moving forward, with my life. I don't know what I can say to this community that don't like the police. Again, I don't take for granted that there are probably some people that are being mistreated by the police. But for the whole, every police officer is not out there mistreating everyone.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've been working at this since the dawn of time, and we're gonna continue. But hopefully, baby steps along the way, we can get better at it. So. I appreciate you coming on, Sherron, and telling us your story and, even your health issues. And hopefully we'll get you through that and we'll talk again and make sure that, everything's all good with you.
All right. It's nice meeting you. Okay, I'm going to drive to California.
Yeah, if we don't fall in the ocean, we'll be here. We'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time.
But I'm not going to let you go yet.
Okay.
There's something I like to do with my guests before I let them go. So let me set this up. I got a game I want to play with you here. So,
all right, okay.
Yeah, you were talking about you got a good memory here. So,
okay.
Let's see how good this memory is here. Give me a second. Set this up. All right, this is a game I like to play with my guests. I call it Black or Blue. Your category today is Look, Ma, I'm on TV. Fictional TV characters. Fictional TV characters. I'm going to name a character for you that was on TV. And you tell me, was that person a black character, meaning they were a black civilian? Are they blue, meaning they were a non-black law enforcement officer, right? Or are they black and blue, meaning they're a black cop? So you got black, you got blue, you got black and blue. Easy?
Oh, okay, we'll see.
All right, your first one here. Let's see. Virgil Tibbs.
Oh, he was black. He was in Heat of the Night.
Yeah, but what did he do? I'm gonna give you this one. What did he do on Heat of the Night?
He was a detective.
Right, so he's black and blue, right?
Okay, black and blue. Okay.
Black and blue, yes. There you go. Now you got it, right?
Yep.
All right, so your next one. Olivia Pope.
Scandal.
Yeah, what is she? Black or blue or blue?
Oh, gosh.
Is she a cop?
No, she's not a cop.
So she is...
Black.
There we go. See, I'm giving you these. Yeah. Yeah. All right. How about Lydia Grant?
Lydia Grant. Oh, Okay, I'm gonna guess at that. She's blue, and I don't remember what she.
Oh, that was played by Debbie Allen on Fame. You remember that show, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course
Dance
I do.
teacher. Yes. Yeah, that was my show right there. How about you next one? How about Mary Beth Lacey? Mary Beth Lacey.
Cagney and Lacey.
And that would make her what?
Black and blue.
No, she's not black. She's just blue.
Oh, that's right. My bad. You're right. My bad. I blew it.
Yeah, you see
Right.
that picture? You had it. But yeah, she wasn't a sister, but she was definitely blue. All right, we're getting you here. How about your next one, Joe Friday? Joe Friday
was he Dragnet? No.
Joe Friday.
He was blue.
He was blue. Yes, he was Dragnet, played by Jack Webb.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
See, you're getting it now. How about your next one, Lester Freamon?
Lester Freamon.
Lester Freamon.
Okay,
If you've ever seen this show.
Too bad I don't have my phone so I can cheat.
Yeah. I don't want you to cheat. Come on now, integrity.
Oh, you're right, integrity. Okay,
Lester Freamon.
Lester Freamon. Okay, black and blue.
See, you guessed right.
Oh, I guess right. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
from The Wire. You ever see The Wire?
Yeah, you know I watched The Wire.
Yes. So you remember Lester, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Your next one. A few more here for you. Ron Harris.
Oh, he's black and blue. He was in
Yes.
yes.
Barney Miller. Yeah.
Barney Miller. Yeah.
See, you getting it now. You coming on strong now. How about your next one? Mary Jane Paul.
She was just black.
She was just black. Yeah, played by Gabrielle Union on
Oh
Being
yeah, I
Mary
remember
Jane.
being Mary Jane.
Yes, that was a good show. That was my show there. And
That
your
was my
last
show
one,
there.
your last one here is Sinclair James.
She was just black. She was in that one show.
Yes. Living Single. Yeah.
You
see?
understand, right?
Yeah, you came on strong there on the end, so I'm gonna say that you are a winner.
Oh, thank you.
Go up. All right. All right, we are back. All right. So that was fun there. You came on strong there at the end.
It was fun. You're right. I like that.
All right. All right, Sherron. Well, again, thank you for everything. And, get through this health crisis here. And when you come out on the other side, we'll be here for you.
All right. Thank you. And remember, we live in a time when knowledge is out there. We should be getting all the knowledge we can.
Yes, ma'am. And we will. All right. You take care. Be safe out there. All right.
All right. Thank you, too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this episode of the Black and Blue Podcast. I want to thank my guests on this episode, retired Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Officer Sherron Franklin, for joining me here today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I wish you a long, prosperous, and healthy retirement. Thank you once again. And if you guys out there enjoyed this episode as well, make sure you like and subscribe to the Black and Blue Podcast YouTube channel or whatever podcast platform you hear my voice today. I'll be back next week. Same black time, same black channel. But till then, y'all know what to do. Stay black in blue. I'll holler at you. Peace.
This has been a Maitre D Entertainment presentation.